it's staggering for a player that has 20 years, under the hood already, and is preparing for 21 like he's a rookie.
Now that we have top to bottom what we feel like is a highly, highly balanced, skilled, athletic, younger team of guys who've logged a ton of NBA minutes, we can surround both he and AD with these players who are coming in eager to contribute, eager to show that they can impact winning. And that's going to allow us to be able to be more efficient with his game-to-game minutes, the big picture, month-to-month, different sections in the calendar. He was grandfathered in by the rest rules, so I was happy to see that.
So the Lakers, they have 15 back-to-backs this season, tied for the most of any team in the NBA this upcoming year. Now, LeBron James, as Darvin Ham mentioned, is grandfathered into the NBA's new participation rules. The team does have a little bit of flexibility on how they manage his play in particular. But Ramona, Darvin Ham says he's going to sort of ramp up LeBron James throughout the season. What does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah, I mean, 65 is the big number here, right? You have to play 65 games to be eligible for postseason awards. And I asked Darvin Ham, you going to get him to 65 games? He goes, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get him to 65
How?
now. Well, there's a way. You say there's 15 back-to-backs. Well, even if you were to sit out some of those back-to-backs, that's only half, okay?
Yeah.
And he said, we're going to take this month to month. We're going to ramp him up through the season. So that means last year when they lost all those games and they fell so far behind, LeBron had to play so many minutes towards the end. He's not going to be playing 42 minutes a game in November. They're going to take it. They're going to ramp him up early season. If he's going to sit, it'll probably be earlier in the season so that when it's go time towards the end of the playoffs, he can do what he did last year.
Right. And here's what I know. I know you do not bet against LeBron James ever under any circumstances. Zach, when you look at this Lakers roster, we've talked about it so much over the summer, but finally we get to hear from Darvin Ham, from Rob Pelinka. What are your thoughts heading into the season?
First of all, LeBron doesn't need any more awards. The trophy case is full. Forget the 65 games. If it's 58, 57, who cares? What he actually needs to bolster his case as the greatest of all time against Michael Jordan is another championship. And the only way they're getting that is if LeBron is ready to go and fully healthy and conditioned in April, May, and June. Play for that. Forget the 65 games, because this roster, top to bottom, is absolutely capable of winning 3 and 4 playoff series. It's deep, it's versatile. They have enough ball handlers to take the pressure off LeBron in the regular season. That's why Gabe Vincent is here. That's why Austin Reeves is here, on and on. And Austin Reeves, I had a long conversation with him this week. He told me one thing that really stuck out to me. Remember, this team was a brand new team 55 games into last season. They flipped the roster. They became a totally different team. And he told me when they came up against the Nuggets in the conference finals, he could feel the difference in crunch time when things got really hairy between a team with continuity that knew exactly with its eyes closed what it wanted to go to in crunch time, and a team that hadn't gotten there yet because it was so new. The Lakers, year 2 of this team, have a chance to get closer to that continuity that they envied in Denver.
LeBron James is happy right now. Like, he posted on his social media, like, waking up at 3 in the morning, excited about the workout. That means he's excited about this season. And we just heard Rob Pelinka talking about he's approaching it like it's year 1. That means he's satisfied and he loved what happened this offseason, and he's ready to go to work with the group that he has in his locker room. Not only ready to go to work with them, he trusts them. So we're talking about a team that went to the Western Conference Finals this past season, a team that added pieces, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, Christian Woods, right? Added more depth, and now they got more experience. Darvin Ham has a year under his belt already. He's going to be better this season. It's all good for the Lakers and King James right now.
Look, I don't know if I'm happy ever about being awake at 3:22 a.m., particularly if it's to work out. That's just, I don't know if I'm
awake at 3:22, it's because I haven't gone to bed yet.
Yeah, see, then that's something else, Roberto. But I think one thing that all basketball fans are excited about, not getting up at 3:22 a.m., but October 26th. I know it's a regular season game, but it's one that all Lakers fans have circled on their calendar. You know why, Zach? Because it's the first time LeBron James and Kevin Durant will play each other in almost 5 years. Can you believe that? It's
Don't
almost
jinx
5
it.
years.
Don't jinx it.
Look,
Knock
on
on
wood.
wood.
I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood. But I want to stick with Giannis for just a minute because we heard for the very first time from Giannis Antetokounmpo yesterday. This is what he told Chris Haynes of Bleacher Report. He said, quote, "I'm excited to have Dame. He gives us a chance to win a championship. I'm excited to play with the caliber of player that he is. He can score the ball in his sleep and shoot the lights out. Dame wants this. He's hungry to win, and he's going to push us. I'm very happy to have him on our team." That is Giannis's first comments since this blockbuster trade. So I want to bring in Ramona Shelburne into the conversation along with Kendrick Perkins and Zach Lowe because, Zach, you are our resident expert on all things Milwaukee Bucks. You sounded the alarms earlier this summer when Giannis said that, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Now that he has spoken out about the Damian Lillard trade, how are you feeling here?
I mean, the alarms were clearly heard by the Milwaukee Bucks. They traded a beloved player, a champion in Jrue Holiday for Damian Lillard, who's really the perfect player to solve what has been their only problem, their main problem in the playoffs, a half-court offense that too often goes dormant, that too often doesn't have a plan or a purpose. Damian Lillard is a walking top 5 offense unto himself. He gives every single possession a roadmap and a purpose in a way that the Bucks did not have before. And I think in the facility in Milwaukee a couple days ago when this trade happened, there was a real mix of emotions, the kind of excitement that Giannis expressed in that quote that you just showed, and also in other things that he said in that same interview or that same text chain, whatever it was, about Jrue Holiday and how much it hurts to lose Jrue Holiday. And I think there was a real sense of melancholy almost in Milwaukee that it had come to a point where they had to send out a player like that as excited as they were to get Damian Lillard, there was a gut punch reaction of who was walking out the door. That's how much respect and love they have there for Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, absolutely, Zach. Everything you said, I agree with 1,000%. But let me add a little bit more. We keep not mentioning money-making Middleton. Chris Middleton. Even if Giannis happened to, we saw what happened last year in the postseason when he got injured, right? But when you think about Chris Middleton, when healthy, he's an all-NBA caliber player. He has shown us this time and time again, even on the biggest stage, that he could go out and be a closer as well himself. So when I just look at that backcourt, because Dame don't have to have the ball in his hands. Chris Middleton's game has grown so much over the last few years that he's also a playmaker. We know that him and Giannis love to run a two-man game. And just because it's their two-man game action doesn't mean that they're going to actually get the shot. So now Dame could, be a spacer, a guy that you have to, a guy that you have to respect at the three-point line. It just opens so much up for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're so dangerous. I'm just anxious to see how Chris Middleton is going to look alongside Damian Lillard and Giannis when healthy. If he looks anything like he did 2 years ago, it's going to be really scary for the next few years.
You have to imagine that Chris Middleton wants to sort of avenge the way that his last season went, particularly his injury-riddled year here. But Jrue Holiday, as you said, Zach, such a big piece of this Milwaukee Bucks team. Giannis talked about how he will always hold a very special place for him because after 50 years, it was Jrue and Chris Middleton that were his running mates, really, in delivering this title to the city of Milwaukee. And now Jrue Holiday is in Portland with training camp coming up in just 3 days, Ramona. And you have to wonder, is Jrue still going to be there then?
Well, look, Jrue is a consummate professional, but it is essentially free agency in late September right now because
that never happens.
Half the league wants Jrue Holiday. He's in a walk year. He has a player option where he can be a free agent this summer. He's a very attractive two-way player to a lot of contenders. I think the list is probably going to go down to about 4 or 5 teams when all is said and done in terms of teams that are interested in him, have the assets to try to acquire him, but also that he would re-sign with long term. And if you're going to trade what it's going to take to get Jrue Holiday, if you're the Knicks, if you're the Miami Heat, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Clippers, the Orlando Magic, why not the Denver Nuggets? If you're looking at those kind of teams, who might trade for him, you want to make sure that you're not going to give up all of these assets and have him not be willing to re-sign and sort of trade for him at your own risk. And it's actually what happened with Jrue 3 years ago when he was in New Orleans. Similar walk year. It was done quietly, but that's when he was traded to Milwaukee, and you remember the haul they had to give up to get him then.
I just think of the stakes, though, Zach. When you're talking about Jrue Holiday and the impact that he could make, if you think about a team like Boston that is right there already, and we've talked about how this has been a seismic shift for the Eastern Conference having Damian Lillard there, but do you think it's hyperbole to say that it would dramatically shift again if Jrue Holiday were to go back to one of those Eastern contenders, or any contender, really?
Wherever he goes, it's going to be a marked shift. And look, the last time this happened 3 years ago with Jrue Holiday, the team that traded for him won the championship. And right. I think Jrue Holiday and his camp kind of liked the idea of this is the missing piece. This is the guy who goes someplace and they win big right away, which is why I think wherever he goes is going to be a team that is either already in the championship picture or thinks they're one move away from getting there. I think anybody below that, the extension question, all of that, I think they're going to probably be out of this market. And if there's two teams that I think the fit is just absolutely rock solid, the Clippers is the most obvious one in the league. They've poured everything into putting this group together and do not have enough playoff wins and playoff series wins to show for it. And the clock isn't just ticking. The clock fell off the wall and the batteries ran out. They need to do something, and they know that. And I would just keep an eye on the New York Knicks, because what a perfect compliment to Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. What a Tom Thibodeau player. And the Knicks are not that far away from having a puncher's chance to be in the conference finals and have a fight in that series too. He would really change the look and feel of a lot of rosters and a lot of crunch time lineups around the league.